So this morning, episodes 9 and 10 of your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man released on Disney+. Now, this series had been through quite a bit in terms of its production, with title changes and delays, but the final product that we got was honestly great, even amazing. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is probably one of the most fun TV shows on Disney+. It is a really enjoyable experience watching these characters and watching the storyline play out, with each episode delivering on Spider-Man action and gripping action sequences. And today, I wanted to talk about the final two episodes, but not only that, do a general review of the series as a whole, going into spoilers, my thoughts for Season 2, and if I think the series can stand the test of time in regards to can they get away with making more seasons and have the audience be engaged. So let's start with that. I definitely think they can do more seasons. This series lends itself by not being connected to the MCU to go on however long they want. And I think that Marvel will definitely take that route, and there will be a Season 2 and maybe even a Season 3, which has reportedly been greenlit. I'm not exactly buying it until Season 2 is out and we see how that goes, but the fact that they're already working on Season 2 is great news. And I will say that Season 1 on its own does a great job of wrapping up things. You don't get to the end of the season feeling like that things haven't been cleared up. You get to the end of the season feeling like, okay, they went far enough with these characters. Maybe they could have gone a little bit farther, but plot lines end in a way where it hooks you for what's to come. And especially when we get into spoilers, there's some pretty crazy stuff that goes on in the final two episodes of the series. But I think if I were to give the series a general rating for those who want to check out now and not deal with spoilers, I'd give the series as a whole a 8 out of 10. It's really fun, it's action-packed, great voice acting, great character dynamics, you're intrigued to the plot, the animation looks way better than it did in the trailers, especially when it's in motion. It's just a really fun show. And yeah, like I said, 8 out of 10. I don't think I'd change anything about it really in terms of plotline. It was just awesome. It was a really great series. I really enjoyed myself. And, you know, I'm glad to have this on my watch list for upcoming Marvel projects. With that being said, let's get into the spoilers of the series as a whole and the final two episodes.
Audiences can't get enough of Marvel Animation's Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Gotcha!
All 10 episodes are now streaming only on Disney+.
Here we go.
So I think I'm going to start with the fact that going into Season 2, let's take a look at what we're going to have to deal with. The symbiote. We're also going to have to take a look at Norman Osborn, or rather Harry Osborn, now running his own company. Meanwhile, Norman Osborn has now had his whole secret foiled. He was secretly working on this project to bring in the cosmic into this universe because he felt like, you know, what were we to be not reaching the full potential at Oscorp? He wanted to feel like they had a grip on space technology and stuff like that. And so in episode 10, he literally brings in Doctor Strange and the Venom symbiote. And I will say, the little bit of leaving the symbiote is a really good hook for Season 2. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about them doing the symbiote storyline in Season 2, but it could also be what the series needs to make it really engaging. Because we've seen Spider-Man, we've seen who he is as a character, so now we need to see who he is when he is being controlled by the symbiote. And I'm really curious to see how the black suit will look in animation. So I'm just really intrigued to see what they're going to do with the symbiote in Season 2. Now, also in Episode 10, they do bring in Doctor Strange to deal with the Venom symbiote, but I think before we get to that episode a lot more, we need to go back to Episode 9. So Episode 9 is kind of concluding the thread of the 1/10th Street gain versus Scorpion and his gain of foes. And this episode gives us another awesome battle, but it also intrigues by having Lonnie basically get this blue kind of gas from the Oscorp truck that the 110th Street game was hijacking. He gets some sort of ability. He's really strong now, and there isn't really anything to set this up prior. So it's just kind of like that's the kind of thing they're going with here. So they've left this as a thread that's going to be very intriguing in Season 2. But also they do a rematch for Spider-Man versus the Scorpion. And I really like that they actually let Spider-Man go almost all the way. He takes on the knowledge of Norman Osborn, and he almost kills the Scorpion. He literally almost finishes him, but it's Lonnie who tells him to stop. It's Lonnie who basically says, don't do this, he's already had enough. And I think that idea in this is really cool. I also think the idea that when he tells Norman Osborn, hey, I almost did this, Osborn replies with, well, you didn't, and that's a good thing. I was not really expecting that, because I was kind of thinking that Norman wanted him to go all the way, and that was going to be part of the villainy arc. That Norman wanted to push him to his limits, and push him to be basically, like, just, rogue almost. Like, just not following the rules. He wanted to be able to control Spider-Man. But they didn't go with that storyline. Instead, they went with the idea that, no, he can control himself. He had to be reminded of this, but no, it isn't responsible for you to be powerful. I mean, what I mean by that is you don't need respect by being powerful and defeating all the foes just to defeat them. And it's actually more of a responsibility and more of a characteristic to be merciful. It's more important to be that way. And so I think that was a really nice scene when Spider-Man almost went too far, but he was kind of reminded, hey, don't do that. I also like that him and Nico make up at the episode 9. I like that they kind of end their relationship on a good point. And I like that Pearl even calls Peter Parker Peter instead of Pete, which I think is maybe hinting at a love story between them. We'll see where that goes, but no, I did like that. And I guess just getting into episode 10 once again. Episode 10 went into the cosmic side. Now, I unfortunately spoiled myself slightly. I saw an image of Doctor Strange in a different environment, and I'm like, wait a second, I don't remember that. But yeah, Doctor Strange comes into this episode, and there's an awesome battle with the symbiote, like Venom monster. There is an awesome fight that takes place. And Spider-Man and Doctor Strange get to team up, so it's kind of like, oh, this is kind of like No Way Home. And, that would be a really fun thing in live action, if they actually did team up a little bit more. But we'll see where they go with that. But no, for here, I thought that was really fun. I like how Norman's trying to get into the cosmic side of the universe, meanwhile Doctor Strange is telling him not to do that. Yeah, I just really liked the action in episode 10. I also like that Peter asked Doctor Strange, like, if you can see the future, can you tell me what it is so I can be ready for it? And Doctor Strange just replies, you are already set for it. Like, you are ready to take on what the future holds. And that also Doctor Strange and him have a conversation about, well, maybe things that are supposed to happen even if they take weird ways to get there. So even if Spider-Man, or rather Norman, messed up the timeline by bringing in Doctor Strange and the Venom symbiote, maybe there's still a chance that everything will work out. Now, I think the one thing I was kind of expecting was Aunt May to find out that he is Spider-Man, and I'm sure they are going to do that, but I actually like that they didn't, and they held it off possibly for season 2 or 3. Oh, and that's another thing. I did not expect the ending where Aunt May went to see whoever Peter Parker's father is. That might have been Uncle Ben, that might have been someone else. I did not expect that. That was a really big surprise, and I think that's a great way to intrigue your audience. Because the point is, this isn't a normal version of Spider-Man. I mean, it is, but they have the multiverse capabilities, and it's an animated series, so it's not connected to the MCU, so they can play with the rules. I also must say that the red and blue suit looked great. I mean, I already saw people liking it a lot on Twitter when Marvel posted the clip for it. But, no, it looks great. I think my biggest flaw with it is that it's just generic. I mean, we've always had the red and blue suit, so it's kind of like I enjoyed the more quirky designs. I enjoyed the more just trying things out, unique designs to the suit. Like the white one that he had in some of the previous episodes. I really like that suit, but I do like the red and blue one. I do think it is very nice, and I think it fits Spider-Man definitely for where they're ending the series in the season. I didn't care for the Nico magic stuff. I didn't think it was needed. I don't appreciate when they try to put witchcraft in projects just for unnecessary reasons. You can create a character without going into witchcraft means. It's one thing if they're fighting an enemy with it, but it's just unneeded. I guess if I had any other thoughts, I don't know when Season 2 is releasing. I would assume it's a 2026 release date, but maybe there's a chance they do it like the fall of this year. That could be pretty cool, but they haven't said that they are, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a next year release. But, yeah, once again, I'll just say it. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is a great show, and I think it's a really good start for Marvel this year. I think it's great that they had the hits of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Captain America Brave New World's been making quite a bit of money. They've got Daredevil. I think Marvel's off to a way better start than they were in 2023, and I think things are just going to keep getting better from here. Hopefully. But that is my thoughts on the whole series. I think it's a really good show. I think it's got room for improvement, but I don't know exactly what I'd improve. I just think that I'm intrigued as an audience member, and I thank you guys for watching. Bye!